Good day, everyone. This is Romabel Pineda, your Project Development Officer 2 and your Local Government Unit and Supply Side Assessment focal person from Institutional Partnership. Today, I will be discussing with you what is SSA or the Supply Side Assessment of the Pantawid Pamilya Filipino Program or 4Ps. So before we start, let us first define what is SSA or the Supply Side Assessment. So basically, SSA or the Supply Side Assessment provides us framework for prioritizing, gathering, and analyzing the supply side information on health and education. That is because 4Ps provides cash grants to families provided that they comply with the conditionalities of the program. So what are these supply side information? These include for health, the number of doctors, the number of nurses, number of midwives, and the health center and other essentials that are needed for the compliance of the partner beneficiaries. For education, this includes the number of chairs, the number of books, number of teachers, as well as schools. All in all, these supply side information will be gathered and consolidated to incorporate into a design for the betterment of the implementation of the Pantawid program. What are the objectives of the conduct of the supply side assessment? First, we want to assess the present condition of the health and education system at the city, municipality, and barangay level. Second, we want to define the gaps in the supply side and give corresponding solutions and recommendations. And lastly, since this is institutional partnership, we want to secure the commitment of and lobby with the local government units and key partner agencies on addressing the supply side gaps. For the goals, we want to identify the impact it will have on health and education, determine whether or not health and education services are adequate, determine the readiness of the LGU in cases of an increase in the demand on health and education, and lastly, inform the agencies. All these objectives and goals boil down to informing our partner agencies of the identified supply side gaps and find solutions to enable our partner beneficiaries meet the conditionalities of our program. So basically in this slide, the illustration shows what we want to achieve. An increase in the number of children enrolled in school and an increase in the number of mothers and children going to the health center. This then comes with an increase in the demand of services in which partnership takes place. On this slide, this presentation illustrates the flow or the procedure on how SSA happens. The meeting with the LGU, the conduct of the assessment, consolidation of the results, presentation and monitoring of the supply side. This will be further discussed as we progress in the presentation. So in the first process, meeting with the LGU, what happens with the meeting with the LGU? So before the conduct of the assessment, the LGUs will receive an initial orientation of the course about the program and on how the assessment will be done, its procedures and its mechanics. This will be done through the Regional Project Management Office. Memorandum of Agreements shall be entered into between the DSWD and the LGUs to formalize their partnership in the implementation of the Pantawid program. So during this meeting, who will be the participants? So there will be a city or municipal advisory council in which it will be composed of the local chief executives to act as the chairperson, the city or the municipal social welfare and development officer, the city or municipal health officer, the city or the municipal planning officer, the city or the municipal local government operations officer, the school superintendents or the school heads of the covered barangays and the city or the municipal link. But what will be their function? First, they will coordinate with the concerned partner agencies at the local level for the proper implementation and complementation. They should ensure to hold regular meetings and prepare reports for the submission to the Regional Advisory Council. And as partners, they should provide technical assistance necessary to ensure the effective implementation of the program, including but not limited to updating, compliance verification, and resolution of grievances. So before the conduct of the assessment, printing and reproduction of the forms shall be made. Then these forms will be distributed to the key partners. They will be given time to accomplish the said forms, and after the retrieval of the forms, it will be encoded, then generation of the report and analysis. So for health, every health facility shall partake in the assessment and the health personnel in charge shall accomplish the form. Indicators include the following: doctor to population ratio, which is 1 is to 20,000, nurse to population ratio, which is 1 is to 5,000, midwife to population ratio, which is also 1 is to 5,000, vaccine to child below 1 year old is 1 is to 1, availability of vaccines for 0 to 5 years old, and availability of services for pregnant women. As mentioned earlier, the program includes both the mother and the children. That is why the pregnant women are included in the health indicator. For education, the forms contain the basic information about the school.
The assessment covers all public elementary and secondary schools in the municipality or target barangays, and this shall be consolidated separately, in which the school principal shall be the main respondent. In case of absence of school in a barangay, the district supervisor shall indicate the school where the children are attending. He or she shall also consolidate and validate the forms at the elementary level, while representative for secondary level.
While the indicators for education are student to teacher ratio, which is 1 is to 25 for preschool and 1 is to 45 for elementary, junior, and senior level. Student to classroom ratio, which is also 1 is to 25 for preschool and 1 is to 45 for elementary, junior, and senior level. Student to textbook ratio, which is 1 is to 1. Student to seat ratio, which is 1 is to 1. Student to deworming pills, which is also 1 is to 1 per dose. And area per student ratio. We now come to the consolidation and analysis of the results. For each indicator, there will be 3 measures that will be obtained: the actual, estimated, and the benchmark ratio. The benchmark ratio is calculated based on the official ratios of the Department of Health and the Department of Education. These are the ratios that I mentioned a while ago. 1 is to 20,000 for the doctor and population ratio. The estimated ratio, which is calculated based on the demand due to 4Ps, while the actual ratio, basically it is calculated based on the data gathered using the SSA tools. So how do we compute for the actual ratio? This can actually be just a simple mathematics, but a tedious work when combined. The total number of population in the city or municipality divided by the number of doctors or nurses or the midwives. Same thing goes for education. It will be the actual number of students enrolled divided by the number of teachers, classrooms, books, seats, or the worming pills in a school year, whichever you are computing for. So once the form have been submitted, this will be encoded and gaps will be computed. Consolidated results of the supply side assessment on health and education shall be presented to the local government units by the field office or the National Program Management Office and form part of the agreement at the municipal level. In municipalities or barangay where it has been assessed as adequate, The regional office shall facilitate activities leading up to the implementation of the Pantawid, such as holding of feedback consultation meetings with the LGUs, preparation of the MOA. As major partners, LGUs or the local government units are required to honor the following commitments as stipulated in their memorandum with our agency. So what can we do? First, we can review and define the gaps, follow up the supply side concerns, have dialogues or coordinate with our partner agencies, and lastly, reassessment of the supply side. Monitoring shall be conducted through the Advisory Council. This may be done on regular meetings and through the conduct of field visits and consultations. Spot checking may also be done by the National Program Management Office. As the partner beneficiary's response is to visit the health centers and availment of the preventive health services and enrolling of their children in school, the health and education services poses an additional demand. Thus, we need to inform our partner agencies of the identified supply side gaps and find solutions to help household beneficiaries meet the conditionalities of the program. Again, this is Romabel Pineda, Local Government Unit and Supply Side Assessment Focal Person. Thank you for listening.